A rich merchant from St. Denis foolishly married a beautiful woman, who drained his income by demanding fine clothes and accessories to enhance her appearance. A bold young monk, named John, about 30 years old, was a frequent and welcome guest at the merchant's house. Generous with his money, John always brought gifts for the merchant and his servants. Before a journey to Bruges, the merchant invited John to visit him and his wife. The monk and the merchant enjoyed a merry time together, eating and drinking for 2 days. On the 3rd day, the merchant woke early to balance his books before his departure, while John went into the garden to pray. The wife, worried about John, joined him in the garden. John, concerned about her, remarked that her husband had kept her up all night, but she admitted she had no desire for her husband. John promised to keep her secrets. The wife complained that her husband was the worst man ever and revealed she owed a debt of 100 francs, which if unpaid, would disgrace her. She begged John to lend her the money. Moved by her plight, John promised to help her, embraced her, and kissed her. They parted, and the wife went to her husband in his counting house, asking him to leave his accounts. The merchant refused, stressing the importance of managing his business carefully. That evening, the three dined together. After dinner, John asked the merchant to lend him 100 francs. The merchant generously agreed and fetched the money, giving it to John in secret. That night, John returned to the abbey, and the next morning, the merchant travelled to Bruges for business. The following Sunday, John returned to St. Denis, freshly shaved, and the wife agreed to have sex with him all night, in exchange for the 100 francs. They eagerly fulfilled their agreement, and the next morning, John returned to the abbey. When the merchant returned home, he told his wife about his successful business trip. He then went to see John, who told him he had left the money with the merchant's wife. The merchant, happy, went home and had a joyful night with his wife. During their time together, he mentioned his slight anger at her for not telling him she had received the money from John. The wife, unperturbed, confirmed she had received the gold from John. She argued that she should be allowed to keep it for good hospitality and other uses. In return for his money, she offered him her body, saying, "I will not pay you but in bed." The merchant saw no other option but to agree.